When you're ready. Okay, perfect. So we'll continue with our agenda for this Day of Animation in the region of Madrid. Doing this program, doing this agenda, we've always wanted to have someone from Mexico to come and share this day with us. And I was talking to different people, and we said who, and everyone said the same thing. They all said Cinema Fantasma. Everyone said Cinema Fantasma, and in the end, well, I had to bring someone from Cinema Fantasma, and it's a stop motion studio that everyone talks about. Even Guillermo de Toro speaks wonders about them. He has beautiful words about your studio, and we know that he's done amazing things with you, and I really recommend this studio, and that is why we have Jorge Tellez here with us, who has come all the way from Mexico, and we thank him for having found the time, and we thank him for staying awake despite jet lag. Thank you. Thank you. Hello, Madrid. Hello, and thank you for your invitation. I would like to thank the organizers, and especially I would like to thank you for being here for this conference. We are Cinema Fantasma, and I say we because I come as a representative of a group of people who shows an amazing passion for animation, art, and cinema.
Yeah. Cinema Fantasma.
Cinema Fantasma is a studio, a stop-motion studio in the city of Mexico, and we have just had our 11th anniversary. Not only are we, despite being a stop-motion studio in Mexico, I mean, it doesn't make sense that I say despite, but it's actually very weird that we can keep on being there, but we have managed to do so. And that's what I want to share with you. And during all of this presentation, I'm going to be sharing that with you. I want to show you some of the magic that we create, and that we have been creating all this time. Because the simple fact of having an idea one day, or a talk you had, a conversation after having coffee, or even just this thought that you had while having lunch can turn into an idea that then starts shaping up and then becomes a script, and then it's a story really, and then you're creating concepts and character design, and then it goes all the way to sculpture, and it has a body. I mean, there are thousands of processes in order to create one of these puppets, and you haven't even done animation yet. And when animation gets there, the animators with amazing talent and incredible patience as well will give it life, and then you see a character with a voice, with life. That's magic. A simple thing that today I can take my phone out and choose a streaming platform and click play and show it to my friends and my parents or even you. That's magic. So I want you to share that with me. I just want you to understand how much it took for us to get to this point at Cinema Fantasma. My name is Jorge Tellez, and I am an industrial designer. I am the construction director at Cinema Fantasma. I hate that picture because they took it once that the lights were there, and they said, just sit down so that we can test them. But the other one really represents me, the one to the right. My work, I have to be honest, and I have to say that I haven't gone to work not a single day for the last 7 years. I go to my friends' homes to see what other mess we got ourselves into and how we're going to try and solve it, how we can use the talent of each and every one of them, because they're all amazing artists, so that we can produce something that is amazing out of the common, out of the ordinary. And this is our DNA. Cinema Fantasma is actually weird because we are in love with art, with literature, the classics. And I'm saying this seriously, we take them quite seriously, but we mustn't avoid saying that we're all sometimes a bit of a caricature. Sometimes you're working at the workshop and somebody will play Jack's Strange World or the Christmas special by the Muppets. So that actually fed us, that fed our soul, and we can't deny it. That mix between wisdom and experience, but also innocence. And the fact that we don't take things too seriously is what has made Cinema Fantasma for all of these years, and I wanted to show this demo reel to you.
Escuchar otra historia.
Siempre he tenido una fascinación con los animales.
Los sustos en donde tú ves y no puedes vernos por no saber ver. Fuimos desterrados del mundo una vez, en ti habitamos, nos debes temer.
¿Una historia de aventura?
¡Yo estoy lista!
Batallas contra sombras.
¿Oh, sí?
Alquimia y sabiduría. Caballeros, dragones, castillos andantes.
Ok.
Y una princesa que invoca el fuego del sol.
¡Soy yo! Así se habla. Pronto. Tengo mucho más por contarles. Por favor, regresen. ¡Cinema Fantasma!
Gracias.
Thank you. Okay, so in order to tell you the story of Cinema Fantasma, we have to talk about Revoltoso, which was the first production that the brothers Ambris did when they finished their studies. I met them at this time and they told me, we are doing a stop motion short movie, and I thought, oh, that's great, lovely, I like your short movie. And that started to grow and grow and grow. And Revoltoso is now considered, well, it's actually set in the Mexican Revolution. It has a cubist aesthetic, and it uses experimental techniques for animation. And they only took 6 years to do it. So when I went to Juan and Roy's house, I thought, are you still working on Revoltoso? Yeah, we are. And they would keep on doing it and doing it. And it's gone to, and we've done this, and we're going to have another sequence and then another sequence. And in the end, Revoltoso had very good results. We got lots of awards, lots of nominations. It was actually getting a very good result the world over. It's on YouTube if you want to check it. And for a studio that's starting with 2 young boys that just got out of school and who created their studio in their parents' house's penthouse, you think, well, that's actually going to work. It's doing well. When are the Oscars going to come? What awards will we get late afterwards? Well, none, to be honest, although we had Revoltoso and although we had managed to create the longest stop motion up till then. It was the longest in duration in Mexico. We didn't have any jobs. We would have to go to clients to ask them whether they wanted to do stop motion, and they would just look at it and say, oh, it's a bit weird. I don't know if this is going to work. We were actually on the losing side. So the team had to be reduced to its bare minimum because there were lots of us. We had to pay rent, but something inside us told us that if we were doing what we loved and if it was our passion, we were on the right path. And you decide not to quit because it's not an effort really. And fortunately, after knocking on lots of doors, we got some ads for brands, and we did important jobs. I mean, short features until Cartoon Network from Mexico got to us. Thanks to Revoltoso, they looked at what we were capable of doing, and they gave us the opportunity of doing some clips for their brand, and always giving us all sorts of creative freedom. They just trusted in our work, on our deadlines, and we also did one special for the Day of the Dead, for the tiger, and step by step, we started getting more complex projects that were more elaborate. This is for a video, musical video, and somehow the bar was getting higher and higher. This is a musical video. This was with Roy would spit on it. This is an amazing puppet that they stepped into, and Adult Swing also contacted us so that we would do stop motion for them. So we actually had lots of fun, but we also cried. There is fun, but there is also suffering, and we're also a company. And there's people who actually depend on us, families, clients, and you can't lose sight of the fact that you have to deliver on time and what is expected of you. And that's helped us because we're extroverted, it's true, we're fun and we're weird, but we're also a company that is well managed by the people who coordinate it. And we always deliver on time. For Adult Swing, we did different IDs of their IPs. This is one for Rick and Morty.
Y así de fácil.
And that's how easy it was, how simple it was. I mean, now that I look back, I think that it's simple, but how did we do those things? And now I would like to go back to those things because we would simply do it in a weekend. I mean, we could just do that in a few days' time now that we're big. But it's actually very good to have commercial projects and to knock on doors, but you always want to have your own projects, your own IP. And the Phoenix has a very interesting story behind it because the first time I met Roy, one of the directors, he told me, do you want to participate in a new project that I'm doing, which was the Ballad of the Phoenix? He was going to start production in 3 months' time. That was 7 years ago. So yes, the Phoenix is in production, and it has been. We have been working on it nonstop. We have spent lots of time and effort and people on this. This is Bruce Sieg's concept. He is a Disney artist who's also giving life to this whole world, and he has helped us in the development during all these years. And now something that's great about the Phoenix is that since it belongs to us, since we have our own rhythm, we only have to answer to our investors, and we have to obviously respect the deadlines with them. But we have developed it as we wanted to. The design of characters, Roy is always modifying and inventing new things, new characters. And I don't know how many versions of the script we have, but they're already recording voices. And we developed systems to replace faces, which was my dream when I got there, because they said stop motion. And I saw that in other studios and in documentaries, they would simply switch faces. They would print a new face and they just put it there. But we didn't have any printers at the time. And now we're experimenting to see how we're going to do it, we'll get the mold and so on. All of these were hand sculpted. And we had the mold and we have it in plastilene and resin. And we actually developed the skeletons and the eye socket. And that's what you usually research when you're thinking of stop motion. And it's not that easy because it depends on the puppet you're working with. It depends on the movements that they want to do. If it is made of wire or if it's made of metal pieces. At the beginning, I had I was just working with a simple machinery, simple equipment. But now we have an armature specialist and we have a mold specialist and one who's a specialist in fabrics and so on. So we have a whole team, a very complete team. And this is a phoenix. This was the teaser. This is Beto, the animation director. And the phoenix is still in production. It's a long feature that we're producing with amazing artists, and Gael Garcia has decided to be one of the voices. We are going to wait and see who else wants to be a part of this team, but you will have news of the Phoenix very soon. And now Frankelda. Frankelda is a long story as well. When we were developing all of these things, Phoenix and the ideas for Cartoon Network, once again, Cartoon Network contacted us and they said, we need a series, a terror series for kids, but it has to be a bit funny as well. And we said, okay, stop right there. We know what you need. So we thought we're going to do this. And we put everything in place. We developed scripts, concepts, characters. We created the puppets. And it was really funny because Frankelda happened during the pandemic. So we went crazy because we had a delivery time, but we couldn't close the studio because we had to deliver the project. It wasn't much time, and it was loads of work. And I actually want to live in the studio because they locked everyone up. So I went to the studio so that I could be locked up there and work on the daily, so that I could send packages and then return them. Now you do the mold. And Frankelda, we finished the pilot. We delivered it. It's on YouTube as well if you want to look at it. And we did very well after an never-ending post-production. We delivered it and we thought, well, this is amazing. We are going to just be successful forever now. But we weren't, because there were transitions between stations and Frankelda was not within the plans, or I don't know, the pace that, or the direction that the station wanted to follow. So they were still finding their place, and they said, no, Frankelda is not going to go. We're not even going to show the pilot. I'm sorry, but we're not going to go through with it. And well, what can we do? We just had to continue. But thanks to the comments, I mean, at the time there were still comments on YouTube for children's series, and we actually copied all of those comments, and it has, I mean, people loved it. And we applied for the Pixelatl festival, which made it explode. Cartoon executives said, no, we can't stop this. This has to continue somehow. And after looking for the way of us doing this, now we have the puppets, and we have some sets. It can't be that difficult. We could maybe create one whole season. We will just make up some other tales. We will work on the scripts. And we got the first season authorized for Frankelda after lots of time. And we got a couple of Pirina Awards a few months ago as well with this series. And I could tell you lots of things regarding what it takes to create a series such as Frankelda, but I'd rather you see it.
que regresaron a escuchar otra.
Oh, I'm so happy you came back to listen to another story.
Ya viéndolo así, pasa.
Well, you look at it like that and it goes so quickly, but you really can't imagine how much work hides behind this. This is stop motion, it is handmade. Only a few people did that, relatively few people for a whole studio. And I think we had 20 to 30 people in construction, and now looking at it here, it's magic. It's Frankelda tells the story of a writer, of a Mexican writer in the 1800s, 1850s. And nobody listened to her when she was alive due to the time and because of her inconsistencies. Nobody took her seriously. And now that she's a ghost, she can tell her stories freely. But this is the villain, her antagonist. And he represents all of those obstacles that you find along the way when you want a project to be launched. And from Frankelda, it was the people from her time who didn't let her tell her stories and didn't take her into account because she's a woman. And that has had a great impact in the community. We're always getting fan art and messages from girls mainly who feel inspired by Frankelda, because all of us have that moment in life when we say, no, I'm not going to make it. What else can I do? Why nobody will listen to me? What do I have to do? I'm going to miss my opportunity. And this is what it represents, the people, the problems, the obstacles along the way. And Francisca Imelda, in life, when she dies, she's Frankelda, but Francisca Imelda, when she was alive, is the representation of that value, that rage, that valor, that courage, that rage that you don't know how to express and how to unchain. And very often you have to just see your dreams wither, and it is really sad and painful. But there are also triumphs very often. There are people who have also fought battles and who are there and who motivate you and that you can inspire. Maybe you don't know them physically, maybe you never met them, but you understand the whole process that they have gone through and you see yourself reflected in them and you realize that you can. This picture was taken 8 years ago, with Mona and Roy, the directors, and because Del Toro gave his support at Revoltoso through Kickstarter. He saw it, and due to its originality, he knew it was Mexican, and he decided to fund part of it. And this picture was taken 2 months ago at Annecy, and he's always been there. And what I wanted to say by this is that very often you think that you're not going to make it, very often it's difficult, very often you don't even know where to start. But you can always do it. There's always a way. There's always friends that can help you. You can get your teachers, your colleagues, your family support, and they'll be there to support you. And what will go on after Frankelda? We already said it. We had season 1. We did it. So when they authorize us to go on working, we will start working on it again. And these are weird times in the streams and in the platforms in general. Frankelda, we never knew what was going to happen. We didn't know if it was going to be a yes or a no. Del Toro congratulated HBO's executives. It was Cartoon previously, now HBO, for giving, for green lighting this first season and for supporting Mexican animation. But once again, they said, well, start doing something with Frankelda. And once again, as always, I mean, it's amazing. We're doing greater things. We're doing crazier things. And look at this.
Lo que más me emociona de trabajar.
What really thrills me about working on the daily on this mega production of Frankelda is the possibility of creating things that seemed impossible. What I really love about working on Frankelda's project is the fact that we have done something that's really cool, very beautiful, and very big, and it's amazing to work here. What I like most about working at Cinema Fantasma is being able to create our stories, our worlds, and our rules. What I like most about working at Frankelda is the story that we're creating with regards to animation, stop motion animation in Mexico. What I like about this production is that we are creating bigger sets and bigger puppets. What I like most about working on this project is to be able to leave a very important history with lots of messages in the world. It's amazing everything that we have done and the sets and the puppets, everything. You're going to love it all. Well, in Cinema Fantasma, it's amazing to work with them because it's not really a team, it's a family. What I like most about working at Cinema Fantasma is that I can work with my friends. What I like most about working at Cinema Fantasma is that each project is a new challenge. It's a place with very talented people that do things that sometimes seem impossible. What I like the most about this production is to create things that are impossible and to make reality from nothing. What I like the most about this project is all the challenges that we have ahead of us because we have done many new things. What I like the most about working for Cinema Fantasma is that I can make a living of doing what I like most. What I like the most about Frankelda is that it feels like a real character, like a real person.
Lo que más me gusta de trabajar en Cinema Fantasma es
What I like the most about Cinema Fantasma is the companionship between all the colleagues. What I like the most about working for Frankelda is to work in a place, in an area different to what I was used to. What I like about and love about this production is that it's like making a dream true. I really like everything, how they tell the stories, how they conclude the stories. What I like the most about the Frankelda's character is its strength, tenacity, how they tell the stories. It's very perseverant.
Mi cosa favorita.
My favorite thing about Frankelda as a character is her voice and her laugh. Every time I see her, it's great inspiration for me. It's been an incredible collaboration and we've made things possible, things that we didn't think were possible when we started. The Cinema Fantasma team is great. What I like the most about working for Cinema Fantasma is that it's really good fun. And the people we live with, it's like a family to us. What I like the most about working for Cinema Fantasma is I feel that every time I talk to someone, they're willing to help me and show me something new, and I always learn. What I like the most about Frankelda as a character is that she represents me as a woman and as an artist. What I like the most about Frankelda is that she does what she wants to do, which is to write. What I like the most about Frankelda is her expressions. It's her way of telling stories. Just like everything that we do, we must have a plan, and the plan needs to be open to adjustments. What I like the most about the Frankelda's character is that she believes nothing is impossible and she doesn't give up. And she knows that someone can create her own future. My favorite thing about Frankelda is that I can be in a telling tales. What I like the most about working at Cinema Fantasma is being able to create magic with a great family of artists, day after day. Frankelda, well, I love her passion for what she does and why she writes the stories. What better storyteller than Frankelda, who's a Mexican writer, that no one paid attention to her when she was alive. Welcome. Do you know why it's so important? Wow, there's no reading. Without them, we don't exist. The best stories do not relax us, they challenge us.
Y bueno, pues,
So, well, Frankelda goes on for 2023. And this time, we've gone to the extreme, really. We can't do things that are even crazier, so we end up doing the most complicated scripts, the most difficult and detailed marionettes with accessories, and we're also printing in 3D many bits, and that's allowed us to get to a level of detail which is incredible. We have marionette scales that are ridiculous. There's a huge marionette, gigantic, but it's fantastic. The sets are fantastic. The largest sets we've ever done. In our original forum, we had space for 10 units. Well located 10 units. Now we only have 2 because we only managed to fit 2 because of the size of the sets that we currently have. So we had to create another area, more detailed pieces, more complicated, increasingly more complicated. I always see it from construction. It's incredible, but when I go, I always think about the construction. When I go to the meetings, I think, how are we going to do that? I know that we're going to do it, but from here till then, it's my future eye problem. But today, let's enjoy this. And then, well, there's lots of pieces that are transparent, we have to use resin, silicone. It's incredible. Right now, since, in Mexico, they're starting a new shooting day, a new day of being hurried and having to do too many things and being crazy, but they're giving shape to what they and life to what they like the most. And I think that's very important. We are a group of people that like what we do, that we believe we can give hope differently, that things can be done differently, that we believe on what we do. We like to say that we live with our feet on the floor, but with our eyes on the sky, set to the sky, because we can do things differently. It doesn't matter how much it costs. It doesn't matter the obstacles. I'm saying this to many of you who are students, because sometimes it's not that you don't think you're going to achieve it, but there's always a way, there's always a room, there's always someone or some way to continue working on what you believe is important. And I'm really here because of them. And I couldn't be happier. Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, now you know
Why everyone loves them. Any questions? Any questions for Jorge? There's a question over there. Hi. I'm up here. Congratulations for your project. You can really see. Oh, your names. Yes, my name is Jorge. Well, I come from Utah, but that was many years ago. No, he's well established now. He's not from a school anymore. I wanted to ask you, after managing to overcome the obstacle of getting money, getting the funds, right, which must be the most difficult thing, what's the next challenge so you can start producing this? I think organizing yourself to meet the deadlines, because you can have a plan from the beginning. You have the money, something that you never expect. So it never happens, right? They give you the money ahead. And then you have to see how you're getting this or that. But really, for me, the organization, what I find more difficult is doing a plan. For instance, I did a mold not that long ago, and I hadn't done it for ages. I did the contour, the resin, I had to empty it out. But this has grown so much that most of my time now is devoted to organizing, to saying who's going to do who, to make sure I meet the deadlines. I think that's the toughest thing, because yes, we like what we do, it's fun, but we're also people with a timetable, with families, with activities outside of work. And even though I say, obviously, it's work, we love it, but it's still work. You have to take all of that into consideration, and having a good organization is key. In fact, the dad of Bono and Roy is project manager. He helps us a lot with the times, with the deliveries. We have meetings nearly every day. We've established working methods. And this is it's great. It's really good fun. But we have also payments to make. Everything that it takes for a company, that's really difficult, because as artists, first of all, you want to make things. Okay, let's create this. This is going to be great. And then let's do this. And it's 11 meters high. Yes, but you have to deliver it in 2 months. Or we'll see how we do it to deliver it in 2 months. 2 months? We have to make it smaller, and we never want to make it smaller. So then it turns out that we have to do it. And so that's the worst thing, making sure that you deliver on time. Okay, thank you very much. We have another question over here. Hi, good morning. My name is Adrián Fernández. I come from José Luis García. I am a 3D animation student. I would like to congratulate you because the work that you do is magnificent. We used to see people very talented, but really it's not common to see something so handcrafted, such an artisan world. And my question is, if there's any specific reason why you decided to take this format, the stop motion, to tell your stories. Why? Well, the stop motion has the peculiarity that you can do incredible things. Not that long ago, they told me that I could do adaptations on stop motion, and I was thinking, yes, but if you're going to do stop motion, it has to be incredible. It's great that you can play with the materials, with the textures. It's very alive. It allows you to innovate. And I'm a designer. Roy was specialized for many years in sculpture and special effects. It's what we know how to do. So 3D, we've only started using trademarks, Rebosch, Trino. But it was what we wanted to do. It's what we like. And it's the best way of telling the stories that we want to tell. And I think all of that came together at some point. And that's why we do stop motion. We haven't thought of another possible technique. Cinema Fantasma was created as a stop motion studio. And I know it's difficult. And I know it's tiring. And everyone says, why are you doing it? Why do you kill yourself doing it if you can do it in 3D? Well, yes, but we know how to do it. Why not? And we're so used to it. And we love it so much. There's like one more day of fun. right? You create molds, you empty it out. We don't leave aside the 3D, okay? We are already including printing techniques in resin and in a thread. We add and add using the new technologies, yes, but adding to what we know and what we love the most and what we're passionate about. Any other questions? Hi, I'm Patricia, up here. Sorry. Yeah, Patricia. I come from Arte 10, from Graphic Empresa. And I didn't know your work, but I did follow the company Leica. And I'm always surprised with stop motion and what you do with the things after you finished. Do you keep them? Do you sell them? Do you keep them for memory's sake? Well, we use them when we can. For instance, in the Pixelator Festival back in September, we took an exhibition of the models we had. Sometimes it's a bit hard. Sometimes we reuse them. Oh, I'm going to destroy the set of the beach of that production. Well, we need sand, and there's a bit of sand there, so it's hard. It's for today, so just bring it. And if it fits, then you think, well, I'm going to keep it. So many of them we keep them, many of them we reuse them, and many of them we exhibit them. Okay, thank you. One last question, okay? I'm Lucas. I'm studying animation from the ESNE school. I'm surprised that a studio that was created with 2 people in a very small studio, it's incredible that bigger studios looked at you. It's incredible how did you manage to get on the door? How did you become popular? So if a large producer says no to you, and then the next day you go and you manage to get another one to accept it. Well, you just need to raise your hand. You can't stop. Because sometimes you think, well, yeah, Leica's going to call me. You did this, come to work with us. No, that's not the case. You know, so it may happen, but normally it doesn't. You have to call and call and call again and send in emails. Something I was surprised with Tony and Royal at the beginning is that they were not scared of anything. We saw a musical with Hugh Jackman, and Rod said, wouldn't it be great if Hugh Jackman was the voice of the character? Of course. And look for the contact and look for someone that has it and then write to them. But this is it. This has happened to many artists, with Gael as well. It would be incredible, we said. Once we were having dinner, having a McDonald's, in fact, and we saw one of his films, and we thought, wouldn't it be great if he was one of the voices in our characters? I'll talk to him. I know someone. I may know someone that may have the contact. So you have to continue calling, and have a lot of relationship. This industry is a lot about public relations, about being well connected, about being in the right place at the right time. For instance, for Frank Gelda, we were presenting another project. And we had the people from Cartoon Networks there. And they came and they said, oh, it would be great to work in something else. And that's when we thought, yes, we could do a series, and a horror series for children. And we said, yeah, we have something like that. So you never know when the opportunity is going to come. You have to be ready. You have to be everywhere. And you can't stop being there. And that's how we managed to do it. Thank you. Well, you always have to be ready, basically. Thank you for the presentation. It's been fantastic, magnificent. Thank you.